and unbelievably, I 10-ringed him. How that happened, I do not know.
And I said, buddy, I still got an old Remington 742 3-way.
So I'm stuck at hunting at home.
Yeah.
So I'm hunting deer in South Carolina. It only takes a 125-inch net to make the record book. So we don't have big deer.
Yeah.
But truly hunting is, to me, it's a personal thing. And what my goal is to get my adrenaline up and to make a shot that I feel proud of.
That was the only way we had to bow hunt when we was growing up.
Yeah, didn't have
They hadn't invented compound bows. But didn't you enjoy catching fish with a cane pole?
I did, but I don't like that now. I'd rather catch one on that little casting reel.
All of us in life are looking for a better life, a new life, a change of life. And Jesus said, you know what? He says, I'm the way, I'm the truth, and I'm the life. And then he follows it up with, no one comes to the Father but through me.
Thanks for joining us today on The Way It Was podcast. The Way It Was is a faith-based outdoor television show centered around hunting, fishing, friendship, and sharing the blessings God's given us through the outdoors. My name is Gavin Spinney, pastor of First Baptist Church in Halton, Louisiana, and I've had the privilege of sharing these experiences with two men I deeply respect, Lynn Beatty and Sid McCullen. These guys have been lifelong friends and have spent more than 50 years hunting, fishing, traveling, and making memories together. Here on the podcast, you'll hear the full conversations, extra stories, laughs, memories, and deeper discussions. On the television side, those conversations are woven together with footage from the hunts, fishing trips, and adventures themselves to create a different kind of outdoor show experience. Whether you found us through the TV show or the podcast, we're glad you're here. Welcome to The Way It Was. Hank, you remember when you came and spoke one time for me at the church at a men's event that we had, and you drove to the church, had a Whataburger cup, came into my office, and I said, hey, I want you to come over to the house with me before the event. We came right here to this living room, sat right over there, because Paul wanted to talk to you about a place that he has in Kansas. You remember that?
First of all, he was thanking me for all the ladder stands that I left up there, and I didn't even know what happened to my ladder stands. I went back to get them, and there was a truckload of, I'm talking literally a tractor-trailer load of ladder stands that used to be on Tony's land up there in Kansas. Lynn ends up buying that farm, and there's a ladder stand on every tree up there.
That's right. Yeah. Hank Parker Outdoors ladder stands, courtesy of
130 ladder stands missing, and I found out.
I don't think we had wound up with no 100.
There wasn't that many in that whole
I don't think it was 9, much less 139.
Oh, well.
Well, there was a portion of them that ended up, they were probably all over Coldwater, Kansas. There probably wasn't a tract of land up there that didn't have a Hank Parker ladder stand somewhere.
I think the locals helped themselves.
Yeah, I think they did. So that was the first discovery of where the ladder stand. That was the first link in the chain of where the missing ladder stands were.
And then you came, I guess you invited him right here in the living room to come back up there and hunt that land that you'd hunted all them years ago on the show. Lynn ended up buying it, and I don't know how many years ago that was. 4?
No, it was a lot more than 4. It's been probably more like 10 years ago.
Has it really?
Yeah.
But the thing about it, when he got up there, he brought a boat that still had training wheels on it.
That's right. Yeah. I
We
don't make
heard
fun
all
about
this
all
stuff
that.
about Hank Parker and his archery skills all over the world, and we introduced him to something that humbled him a little bit.
Found out I didn't have a lot of archery skills. Sid gave me, what is it,
A&H.
A&H bow, and I'm going to tell you what, I cherish that thing. I'm so grateful, Sid, for the gift, and my boys all wanted it, and they started shooting. They've been shooting black widows, and they started shooting that A&H.
They found a real bow.
Well, I'm telling you what, it's truly probably from all that I know, the world's greatest longbow. No vibration. It's smooth as silk. But it fires awesome warning shots. I'm telling you what, it'll lay one between his feet, over his back. It's amazing where it'll shoot an arrow.
Well, you wound up killing deer with it, though.
Yeah, bless his heart. You know, it was a great buck too. I was hunting with Lynn, and we were all excited, and there was a big. Lynn ended up killing that deer. It was about 170 or 80 inch deer that I was chasing, and this 150 inch deer showed up on camera right behind the house, and I said, I'd rather kill that deer with a longbow than I had that 180 inch deer down there in the pasture that we were hunting with the compound. He said, are you serious? I said, I am dead serious. He said, well, that deer's liable to show up in the morning. Let's go. So Lynn was running camera, and we had a nice 8-pointer. I mean, a really nice 8-pointer, and he jumped the fence, and Lynn said, he said, no, I'm not going to shoot him. And, boy, here come that 10-point, about 148-inch deer, I think is what he scored. But here he comes, and I said, and so Lynn rolls over on him. Well, now he's rolling on this 8-pointer. So he turns and he clicks that button, which turned the camera off, unbeknownst to him.
Oh.
And I'm watching the viewfinder, and the viewfinder's got a little red light blinking as if it's recording, but it was saying change cards. And so he thought it was recording. I thought it was recording. And I'm watching, and it's the most beautiful footage you've ever seen. Sun shining through the trees, and it's hitting on his antlers. And he comes over there, boy, and he burrs up, you know, and jumps the fence. And it's just absolutely made for television. Couldn't be better. It's just so perfect. And I'm looking at the viewfinder, and Lynn's got him right in the center of the frame. He jumps the fence. He comes over there, and he bows up at that 8-pointer, and that 8-pointer backs down a little bit, and he comes over there and he starts to feed a little bit. He looks at that 8-pointer a little bit more, and it's deathly quiet. There is not a breath of wind, which is unusual for Kansas. It's early in the morning. This deer is like 14 yards. So there is no possible way to draw on this deer. And he keeps looking in our direction. We're in a little dugout bow blind.
Yeah.
And he keeps looking at us, you know, and he's on high alert. So he wheels around there, and I'm just watching. I don't even attempt to draw because I know what's going to happen. And all of a sudden, that 8-pointer kind of comes up behind him, boy, and he bows up and wheels around on that perfect time for me to draw. So I drew on him. And I'm looking at the viewfinder. He's right in the center of the frame. And unbelievably, I 10-ringed him. How that happened, I do not know. But I 10-ringed that rascal, and he jumped the fence and went out there and went about 80 yards and died, and we're high-fiving and celebrating. Lynn turns the camera over there to me, and I see this look of death on his face. He's realizing at this point the time code is not moving.
Oh, my.
It was then when we discovered. So, but you know, I got to do a play-by-play. Here's what happened, folks.
We filmed him in the back of the buggy.
Yeah, wasn't he nice? You should have seen the footage. It could not have been more beautiful.
Yeah, but Lulu just went right out there and found that deer for you.
Yeah, man.
We got all that.
Yeah.
I can't say a word about it because there's been several times that I hit the double-click the red button too. You know?
Well, I sympathize with you. I've never made a mistake. How about you?
No, me neither.
Well, what about last year? You had a real cameraman with you.
I had a real cameraman. I had a real cameraman on a couple occasions where I fired. We had a deer I was hunting named Wormy, and I shot in every direction you can imagine. I shot over him, under him, behind him, in front of him. It was kind of like being a label on a bottle. I was all around it. I just never got in it.
Oh, mercy. Yeah, that you shot sometimes at Wormy out there.
Oh, yeah.
Got good footage, all the misses.
yeah.
No footage of the hit.
It's amazing how many misses we got on
You
video.
did get his rack, though.
Huh?
You did get his rack. Because we knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was just, he was sick.
He was sick.
And then got his rack. And
What did he end up
back-
scoring?
I don't remember.
He was probably 150 class deer. or
Got some
something.
kickers and stuff.
Yeah.
But he had character.
Yeah, he had a lot of trash.
Yeah, he had a lot of
He
character.
probably was a 140-inch deer, but he had a lot of trash
Yeah.
that made up to.
But last year, Was it last year? Yeah, last year when that really big, heavy deer came in there. that
Well, we
you
ain't gonna
shot.
talk about him. Jimmy Ray, when I missed Wormy the last time, I said, "Did you hear him snort wheeze?" He said, "That wasn't snort wheeze." He was laughing. he was giggling all. Who is that guy? That's what he was saying, you know. So. But we will go back. Last year was a really nice deer, and I'm gonna tell you something. I had a deer at my farm. I've killed 2 bucks in my life with a longbow. 2. And I hunted my farm, and I hunted hard, and I videoed for the way it was. Man, I'm gonna make you guys, I'm gonna make y'all proud of me. I'm gonna take that longbow you gave me, and I'm gonna kill me a deer here in South Carolina. And I had a deer that came in that was as nervous as any deer I've ever seen in my life. He was nervous. He circled the bait 14 times. He'd squat every time a bird would fly by. So you know that deer's gonna duck when you shoot, because that fletching is loud. So I'm gonna aim under him really good and let it fly. And I did, and he did not move a muscle. I shot slick under him. Then 15 minutes later, I had a deer that came in. He was as calm as he could be. He didn't circle. He walked straight to the bait, put his head down. Birds flew over his head. He didn't move. I said, well, put it on him and let it go. So I put it on him. He ducked to the ground. I said, what do you do? How you guys ever kill a deer?
What's Lynn, one of his favorite said? How do you lead a deer standing still?
How do you lead a deer? I've heard you say that, Sid. How do you lead a deer standing still is a good question, because I'm telling you what, these things, and you guys, you never brag on yourself, and I like humility. I think that goes a long way. But you guys don't even have a clue how good you are and how many big, giant, mature bucks you kill with that longbow. It's impressive, and I can't get over it. So they've got me on a training program. They both work with me. We'll try this, we'll try that, we'll try. I can miss with any kind of style that I use. I'm just good at missing. I found my calling.
Well, I got to fess up. The one before this, but last year, I had the deer population down a little bit in Kansas, and so we're looking for mature deer, grown deer, and just didn't have what we usually do. Had just one nice 8-point up on the place. And my grandbabies, they'd killed nicer deer on the other things, but that's the deer I'm gonna kill. I liked him, and so I'm up there hunting him with a longbow. And he comes in there again. It was about an 18 or 20 yard shot, you know, but I forgot I set that thing up for the wind. I forgot about the sun. You can hunt in the afternoon because the sun's back here, but in the morning the sun's shining straight in there on you. And when he came in sight, he's looking at that blind over there. And the whole time he walked up there, he's looking in that blind. And he'd turn his nose to feed a little bit, and he'd look back at that blind. Same thing, it was quiet. I said, well, I'm going to try him anyhow, you know, but I got right here. And he heard that. Shh. He ran off out there about 40 yards, and he laughed at me, too, you know. And I hunted him most of the season with that longbow. So this is a tip for you.
Okay, I'll need a tip.
Yeah,
Come on.
But you couldn't do it up there because I had any season, any weapon tag. I said, buddy, I still got an old Remington 742 308. And opening day of rifle season, we had another encounter. He was out there about 100 yards, and that was just all I wanted, you know. So my old 308, it helped me out. That's twice I've had to do that up there. So yeah, I've done my share of missing. But you killed the doe in Oklahoma with that.
Yeah, I've killed doe at home. I've killed doe in Oklahoma, and I killed 2 doe in Kansas. But if they got horns on the head, it draws my arrow either to the ground or to the sky. It's a magnetic field. See, they have this thing, and that magnetic field gets me every time.
That's the Mantegna's up there. It's attracting that magnetic field.
Yeah, I think it's got something to do with the baroatomic pressure and all the. It gets pretty wild.
Yeah. Maybe it was a tsunami or something over there.
They call it buck fever.
Oh, is that right? Okay, well, maybe that's what.
By the way, one of Lynn's granddaughters went ahead and took care of you.
Yeah, I know she did, and I was proud for her.
Yeah. You killed one last year, though, didn't you? You killed a buck in Kansas last year?
No.
Last year when that happened.
No.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't it last year when that happened?
So you've killed
But now,
2 bucks
let me
with
just
it.
tell you something. I hit that deer last year right here.
Yeah.
he was supposed to have ducked.
Yeah, he did.
And he didn't.
He didn't move.
He did not budge.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, that's
I mean, he should have squatted, and I would have 10-ringed him, and he didn't do what he was. I did my part.
Yeah, they don't cooperate.
They don't
when
cooperate. They have no respect. Then I'm an old man, and I'm out there deer hunting and doing. And
it's
he
cold and everything.
Yeah, he should show me some respect.
Exactly. You know, we've been talking on this the last couple of times, and Paul shared a story about his first deer he ever killed. You remember the first deer you ever killed?
I do. I remember that I was in South Carolina, and I didn't start out hunting. We didn't have deer where I lived, when I was a kid. And the first deer I ever saw a doe deer when I was about 15 years old, and I was squirrel hunting. But we didn't have, so I was 21 years old, and I'd gotten saved, and I was 22, and one of our church members was a big deer hunter, so he took me. And so we went down on Saturday, and I got so excited about it, and I loved it. And I asked him if I could go back on Monday. And in South Carolina, you could kill 2.
Yeah.
So the first deer that came out was a little 4-point, so I shot him. And I'm all pumped up. Well, then about 30 minutes later, while I'm all getting my stuff ready, about a 6-pointer come down, so I shot him. And so now I got 2 deer, which was totally legal.
Yeah.
And I go down and tag them, and I start dragging that 6-point to the truck up the hill. And I drag, and I huff, and I puff, and I'm about to die. And I finally get that thing, and this guy drives up, and he says, "Oh, you got you one." I said, "Yeah, man, you want one? You want one? There's another one down there." Yeah, I said, "Well, you can have it.
Go get
you
him."
going to help me drag him?" I said, "No, I ain't going to help you drag him. I'm drug out." So I gave him away. I killed 2, my first hunt ever, by myself, and drug one of them out, gave the other one away down the hill.
That's good.
Well, I know I've done my share of missing. In Oklahoma, it had a curse on me for I don't know how long. And one of the funniest things was, you had a story about fishing Bistano. Tell us about
Tell
that.
that story. That's a great one.
That'll lead into my deer hunt right there.
Bistano's
Hummingbird.
a local lake here.
Yeah, I went to Bistano, and Hummingbird is, they had the first fishing team. We were the first, Jimmy Houston and I were the first 2 guys to ever wear a jersey that all the fishermen wear now. So we had the very first fishing jerseys. We had a big painted up Suburban, and we pulled a big enclosed trailer. And this trailer was something else, man. I had cabinets in it. I had rod holders, and I had a place to store my fishing line, and all. It was just really a cool deal. And so I'm at Lake Bistano, and it's cold, man, it's cold. And I'm looking, I want to go up the river, and we're staying down the lake, and I look, and there's a ramp up there. Well, little did I know that the ramp was down a dirt road. So this thing is like a NASCAR trailer. I mean, it's huge. It's probably 65, 70 feet long when you add your vehicle. So I'm going down this little pig path road, and I get down there, and there's an old Cajun guy down there, and his eyes are about to pop out. He's looking, and here comes this big old truck and trailer all painted up black with yellow Hummingbird written all over it. And he said, "Lord, look at here, the suckers done come to town. You here, look at here what we got down here at Lake Bistano. My goodness, what you got in there? That's a school bus." I said, "No, sir, I got a bass. Where you got a bass boat? Inside that house? You got a houseboat?" I said, "Well, no, that's an enclosed trailer. Look like a houseboat." I said, "No, it's an enclosed." He said, "You got to give me a tour." I said, "All right." And I showed him where I keep my line. He said, "Woo, look at you. Ain't you something now? Come on now. Sure enough, you got something here." So I launched the boat, and about the time he took off, and he had a little old dugout Piru. That thing looked like it'd been, drugged down the dirt road without a trailer. He had that and had a bunch of little old rods. They had the eyes taped on the rods where the wrapping around the eyes had come out, and he put electrical tape. I mean, he didn't have very much. So he went out, and I went out, and my big fancy Hummingbird boat was all polished up, and I had every kind of electronics on it that was made at that time, and I had 40 rods and reels laid out with the best lures in the world, and he had a couple old beat-up beetle spins and tarantulas, and I had a jigger pole, and he had all this mess, and As fate would have it, we came back in at the same time. We left and we came back, and he had a string of fish in that boat you would not believe. My eyes about popped out. And I said, look like you caught them pretty good. He said, oh, yeah, I caught them good, boss man. He said, but I hate to hear what you caught. I bet you caught 500. I said, well, I'm going to be completely honest with you, sir. I didn't get a bite. He said, well, you sure look good coming. I didn't look too good leaving, but I look good coming.
I was up there, and there's this big old buck came through in there, and we saw him coming.
Yeah.
And I named him Hank. I told Jimmy, I said, man, look how good he looks coming. You know, I said, that's Hank. We're going to call him
He
Hank.
looked good coming.
He looked good coming.
Well, then too later, here they come, a whole bunch of deer, some does and smaller bucks, and there old Hank was, you know. And they come up there, and he just got right there, like 15 yards, slightly quartered away, his head looking the other way, and I'm thinking, I'm putting him on the wall already, you know. But I believe the mistake I made, I'm looking at the whole picture instead of that spot on a spot on a spot. And I barely did stick him in the top of the back, and he took off, and he was laughing as he went out to the other side of the food plot over there. And Jimmy Ray just turned, looked at the camera, looked at me, and just did this. I went back, I told Ken, I'm through. I just messed up the best buck on the place, you know. But Hank made it, but I never got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was old Hank.
Jimmy Ray's given me a lot of them.
Yeah, them kind of
I've got a lot of them. I've got about 20 of them, I think, and all, if I added them all up.
We need to get a clip of all of them put together.
Oh, I think just talking about them and letting them go, you know?
That's catch and release. That's what it is.
Here, look here.
No records are wrong.
No, the
son.
Lord says when you confess your sins, He forgets them.
As far
He
as
don't
East
bring
is
them back
from the-
up
That's
and over and over, and
Yeah,
He
but
don't.
I think it'd be fun for TV though.
Yeah, but it's forgiveness, and He don't remember them anymore. And you're supposed to be Christ-like.
I know, but that camera don't.
No,
forget
yeah,
it.
but you don't need to bring up the camera. You need to forget the camera. See, you got to be Christ-like. And so the Lord forgets my sins. Y'all need to forget my misses.
Oh, we'll pray about it.
Yeah. I don't think
I walked out of my house and back in it 3 times today because I'd made a mug of water and I couldn't remember where I put it, trying to find it. But I can remember shooting the Hank from my
Oh, I was
home.
going to say, you kind of like the Lord. You forgot it too. Well,
That's kind of a bad deal. Y'all give me a hard time. And
yeah.
I kind of bring it on myself. I have to admit it. I open myself up. So.
But you went all in with that longbow. That's really cool.
I have been so fortunate in my lifetime. I got really intrigued about trophy hunting, and I've never done anything in my life half-hearted.
Yeah.
My motto is 99 is not a good number if 100 is achievable. So if you're going to set your mind to do something, let's do it. Let's all in, Dabo Swinney, all in. And so I've had the privilege. I went to Saskatchewan in 1989. I hunted up there every year until the COVID deal where you had to have a vaccination to go. I never got vaccinated, so I never was able to go legally into Canada, so I quit going. But I went for 30 plus years and killed a lot of big deer. We had a great deer lease in Texas, killed a lot of big deer. I started hunting in Kansas. I hunted Iowa. And I've just been very, very fortunate. Well, now, without a television show of my own, funding all these hunts, and hunts have gotten really expensive. There was a time you could lease ground, like in Missouri, for example, for $4 an acre. Now that's $15 to $20 to $25 an acre. It's just more money than I can justify spending. So I'm stuck at hunting at home.
Yeah.
So I'm hunting deer in South Carolina. It only takes a 125-inch net to make the record book. So we don't have big deer.
Yeah.
So it's so anticlimactic after you've been privileged all these years to go hunt big deer, and now you can't hunt them. And so you're hunting little bitty deer. Well, little bitty deer don't make my heart beat when I'm sitting there with that compound bow that I know I can kill him. If he gets 40 or even 50 yards or closer, the high odds I'm going to kill him.
Yeah.
Well, if he gets 15 yards, it's pretty good odds I ain't going to kill him. And so that little 8 point he really gets my heart beating.
Yeah.
Because it's a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's truly a challenge. And hunting, I think, we all fall into this trap where we brag and we post on Facebook and we do all these things and we brag about our deer. But truly hunting is, to me, it's a personal thing. And what my goal is to get my adrenaline up and to make a shot that I feel proud of. Not something that you brag about. Nobody gets excited about a little old buck like that, except my grandson. I have to tell this story real quick. My grandson, Alec, he's a real athletic kid, and he wanted to shoot a bow. And so I got him shooting a bow, and he's about 11 years old. And he could draw 45 pounds, which is the law, and he could draw that bow, but he couldn't hit anything very well. So, but at 10 yards, he was deadly. Well, I had a little old 6-point buck. It came to a persimmon tree, and every time the wind would blow on a persimmon fall, that deer would be there. So I knew this was a little suicidal deer. I thought, I'm going to put my grandson on him. So the only tree I could get within 10 yards of that persimmon tree was a gigantic tree. So I got his stand up, and then I'm in a camera stand. I'm way up above him. And I couldn't get closer to him because of the way the tree formed. So I'm way up above him, and I didn't even think about getting something to drop down there to let him know that the deer was coming. So we hadn't been in the tree 5 minutes, and the wind started blowing, and persimmon fire, and here he comes. And I'm trying to figure out a way to video the deer and to signal Alec. And while I was trying to figure that out, I looked down at Alec, and that arrow on that arrow rest, that thing was jumping up, and I said, he sees him, he sees him. So the deer gets right under him, and he looks up at me. So he didn't draw on him. Deer kind of hesitates for a minute, and he goes out there at 10 yards and turns totally broadside, and I said, now. He drew back. Boy, that deer just stood there like a statue, quartering away, 10 yards. He shot 5 foot over his back. So the deer ran off, and I said, Alec, did you shoot your 10-yard pin? He said, Pawpaw, when that big monster, the little old 6-point scored about 45 points. He said, when that big monster was coming through the woods, he said, I forgot I had pins.
Hey, I've been there.
Yeah,
I've been there.
That's what that longbow does for me. That big monster, little old 6-point buck, man, I get fired up, you know. So it really has changed everything for me to be able to hunt and have a challenge. And really, with that longbow, you honestly, for me anyway, now not these guys, I need that deer 20 yards or less.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah, and that's a challenge.
Yeah.
That's a challenge within itself.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of back wind and stuff. You can have a wind in your face, and it just takes one little bitty swirl of a wind current to travel 15 yards.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges involved, and it makes it exciting for me. And I get fired up about going out there and hunting these little old bucks on my farm with my longbow. So thank you, guys. It's been a refreshing new challenge for me, and I failed so far, but I'm not giving up.
That's right.
I'm not giving up.
That's good.
What about, wasn't there, you told a story one time about another kid, I believe. That was then, this is now.
Oh, that was the funniest thing we ever did. We did a show with this Nathan Cudd. He's cutest little boy in the world. And his brother had been, I took him turkey hunting. I used to hunt on his dad's land. His dad was a deputy sheriff, and he let me hunt over there. So when his son wanted to turkey hunt, Caleb, I started taking him hunting. So Caleb and I had become good buddies, and Caleb actually blew in the world. I taught him how to call, and he blew in the world last year in Nashville at the NWTF. But he wanted Nathan. Nathan was about 7 years old. We wanted Nathan to come over and kill a deer. So he came over, and I said, Nathan, what you want to shoot? He said, what y'all got? What you got? I said, well, we got a little piebald, but piebald, what is that? I said, well, he's brown and white, and he's a little 6-point buck. No, I don't know, 6-point. I said, well, we got a pretty good size 8-point, and he comes out pretty often. And then we got a big 8-point. That's why I want that big 8-point. I want that big 8-point. And I said, well, we got a lot of doe. No, I don't want no doe. I don't want no doe. I'm not interested in doe. I said, well, a doe going to come out. I don't care nothing about no doe. I want that big 8-point. I said, okay, all right. So we go out and we get in the blind. We're there about 15 minutes, and I look on the hill, and here's a little bitty young small doe. I said, here comes a small doe. He said, I'm taking her. I said, wait a minute. I thought you told me you didn't want a doe. He said, that was then. This is now. He shot that day. That was then and this is now.
That's great.
Then he went on and told his mama, said, I've been on Hank Parker's Flesh and Blood, and I've killed a deer. I'm going to be a supermodel. I'll never have to work another day of my life.
Like that little grandson of mine, the game boy up there last year. We up there and we're going. I was going to film with the main camera, and my first granddaughter up there, she was going to use my phone and film him. We were going to just make a good little show with little Dino, and we were going to go up there and shoot a decent buck, you know. And so here come 3 does. When Dino likes to shoot. We'll say, he didn't say a word. Here comes 3 does. Well, my camera's down here. I wasn't even paying any attention, you know. And she's over there playing a game on the phone instead of filming. He's over there behind the gun. And we're looking at those 3 does, and he looks at me and he's like, I think I want to shoot a doe. I thought you want to wait on that buck. I think I want to shoot him. I said, well, that's fine. We need some doe meat anyhow, you know. So I reached down to get the camera, and she got the phone to turn it to film and said, "Wow!" He shoots, and boy, we look up, and there's 3 tails running off, and I'm like, "What'd you do?" Yes, I shot one of those does. I said, "Well, why didn't you tell us you was gonna shoot?" I said, "Well, did you hit it?" "Oh yeah." And I said, well, let's wait a little bit. No, let's go get her. You know, they want to go right there.
Oh, yeah.
And so we waited a good 10 minutes, you know, and he had to go. We walk out there where there were no blood, no hair. You know, and he ran down a mowed trail we had over a little ridge. And I'm thinking, hey, I wish I'd have been filming. I could at least told if he hit the deer or not. He said, I hit her right behind the shoulder. Okay, well, sure enough, we walked down there and looked down the edge of the wood, and there she lay, right where he said. He said, I told you I hit her right there behind the shoulder. I said, you want to wait on that buck? No, let's take her to the house and skin her right now. And that's fun, you know.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
That deer Lynn brought out when we was over there, about the first one, a little 3-point,
Yeah.
you know. And, but that was fun. My first one was a little 6-point like this. I've been a 6-point man ever since.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. There's no rules on kids on their first deer, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Or old men with longbows.
No rule.
Yeah.
It just makes a challenging hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing to it. I mean, no sights, none of that. You ain't got all that trash. to
Yeah,
go
worry
with.
about them pins.
Yeah, all you do is just pull it back and shoot it. You know, ain't no. You ain't got to worry about all them extracurricular cams and
That's right.
all
But
peeps.
I watch you guys shoot, and it's just such a natural. And you put them in there, and you group them, and you know you're going to do it. I've seen you shoot. And when you get down on it, I've seen you shoot them little tennis ball groups. I've sat there and watched it, and it's just so natural, and it's not for me.
Yeah.
And I went down. There's a archery shop in Columbia, South Carolina, and the guy that owns it, his father was a traditional archer, and he and Mr. Hoyt worked together developing bows, and they're still a very traditional shop. And he helped me a lot. I told him, I said, I just don't have it. Some people have natural instincts, and they're in. He said, "Oh no. I'm not going to buy that. I watched you on Saturday mornings take that little pistol grip handle rod and put that spinnerbait up there about 1 inch from a stump, cast after cast. That's all bow hunting is. That's all traditional archery is. It's like baseball. You don't aim it. You look where you want it to go, and you throw it. You have got to shoot. You have got to practice. You've got to get where it feels natural to you. What you're doing is you're trying to just put your bow up, go to Kansas and get out there the day before or 2 days before and hunt. That's not going to work. You need to shoot. You need to practice. You need to get it where it's natural. natural. You need to look where you want that arrow to go, to learn how to look down that arrow and shoot. And that helped me. I wasn't practicing enough. And it really made a difference. And it is really just like casting that spinnerbait, throwing a baseball. You learn where that arrow, you see where it wants to go, you learn how to look down that arrow, and you get smooth at the release, and you practice, and you get better and better and better. You guys have been doing it for 55 years. Mm-hmm. That's a long time.
Well, that was the only way. We had to bow hunt when we were growing up.
Yeah, didn't have compound.
They hadn't invented compound bows. Mm-hmm. And just like here last year before last, I killed a deer up there in Kansas with a bow that I bought in 1968. Same identical setup in 68 as it was in 24. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Drilled, went right straight through her, 50 yards, and she's dead. Mm-hmm. So that's what we learned how to bow hunt with. And then the compounds got invented, and then they progressed. Oh, every year there was always a new bow came out. Matthews, Hoyt, they all of them, and they've improved, and you got them so the technology took over, and we're still shooting the same thing we was in 1968.
I started with cane pole. But once that cane pole became obsolete with all these new rods and reels, when Zebco came out with the 33, and then we had the Mitchell 300, and we had the bait cast, I progressed all the way up to the latest and the greatest, and the 4-ounce rods and the 15-ounce bait cast low profile, 7-to-1 gear ratio. I've got all that stuff. But you guys stayed with the cane pole. You never left the cane pole.
You never went back to the cane
That's
pole
right.
either.
I never went back. So now I'm going back to the cane pole.
But didn't you enjoy catching fish with a cane pole?
I did, but I don't like that now. I'd rather catch one on that little casting reel. But I love the challenge. But that's saying a lot, that you've got all the capabilities and availability of all the technical advancements that have been made, but you don't want that because you like the challenge that is offered and trying to get that deer inside of 20 yards to make a shot with a traditional, no wheels, no sights, no.
Hey, but I've been watching some of your videos that you're putting on, and you're talking about shooting a longbow, and you've put out a lot of good information that people are not aware of. I know you said something about the heavy air on the front.
I got all that from you. I just don't give you credit for it. I take credit for it. I figured this out on my own.
He's more articulate than we are.
That's right.
That's a big word I use there.
Yeah, I like that articulate. I just take what you say and I modify it, and then I take credit. Yeah, I take credit for it.
It doesn't matter
Let
where
me tell you what I figured out.
but it doesn't matter where you heard it, but you putting it out to people that need to know it. Hey, you think people are going to listen to me and goat? I don't think so.
Hey, I am. I'm telling you that.
But
if they knew what I knew, they'd listen to you. They'd turn me off and come over here to the Way It Was podcast. Let me tell you what them old boys got to say about this.
One thing I do say about any kind of traditional bow, most people don't agree with this, but there's no certain way. There's no certain way that you hold the bow and draw the bow. I cant my bow. It feels, but I can shoot it better canting. Lynn shoots his more vertical. You shoot yours more vertical on there. So it's whatever works for you. Like you said, if you can take that rod and reel and throw that bait this way instead of this way, it works for you.
Yeah.
And I just like the cant on mine, and so that's another. Just shoot, like you said. Just go out there and just shoot and get the anchor right.
It's like the guy told me at the archery shop. It's like throwing a baseball. If you watch Major League pitching, you watch Major League Baseball. You got pitchers that are sidearm, three-quarter sidearm, overhand. I mean, but they're still delivering that baseball over that strike zone, and that's exactly. So everybody might be a little bit different.
Mechanically,
that's right. But you're trying to achieve the same thing as hit that strike zone.
Yeah.
But you talking about me and goat shooting the bows. We can't hit within 1 inch of that cypress knee. with a
Like he can't with that spinnerbait. Yeah.
Because you hadn't practiced.
He's thrown that spinnerbait more than we've shot those arrows too.
Yeah. Practice, you know.
we haven't
But
got that many years left.
the one thing that you guys helped me a lot, people say practice makes perfect, and practice can mess you up.
Yeah.
Perfect practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
So if you're doing things wrong, and Lynn kept saying, no, you're dropping your bow. You're not doing this. You're really not coming all the way
All the
back.
way back. That's
Yeah,
my
and
thing all the time. Not coming all the way back.
And he made me conscious of that.
Yeah.
So I advise people that shoot a bow a lot, even a compound bow, either video yourself or have somebody that knows, that has a little bit of expertise to watch you, because it's awful easy to creep into bad habits, and then you get out there and practice with those bad habits and it messes you up.
Yeah.
And both of you guys have critiqued me and said, you need to do this. I think you're dropping the bow. I don't think you're getting that bow all the way back. I don't think you're looking down that arrow. And had you not corrected me, you know, I wouldn't.
Yep.
And the thing that I learned, this is what I learned personally on Wormy. Wormy was the first deer I hunted with a longbow, and we never intended to hunt Wormy, but Wormy was a 3-year-old deer that needed 2 more years, but he got sick, and man, he was in really bad shape, and he started getting skinnier and skinnier, so we decided, Lynn said, let's go kill Wormy. So I tried, and I wanted to do it with a longbow, and I could get out there and I could shoot pretty good. I could hit my target. Well, then when we go out there and get in the woods and Wormy would show up, I'd shoot 5 foot over his back. Well, with a compound bow, you have a locking point, you have a kisser button,
right, yeah.
you put the string on your nose and you look through a peep sight and you line up with a sight. Well, it doesn't make that much difference if you're just a hair off. With that longbow, when I saw that deer, my adrenaline was up, and I was pulling it back further than I was.
Yeah.
And man, 2 inches makes 5 foot of difference at 15 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was just launching them over his back, and I'm thinking, how did I do that? I just shot a target before I came out here. Well, what I was doing was I was stopping right here and had my head this way. And then when I got that deer, I got my head back and I'm back here.
Yeah.
And I'm shooting 5 feet over that deer, not just missing like you do a compound bow by an inch or two.
For every inch, most traditional bows are rated at 28-inch draw.
Yeah.
Like 50 pounds. If you short draw it, it reduces that 3 to 5 pounds. And the same way, if you overdraw it, it increases it. And the angle of your head, years ago, I started missing deer. And I finally figured out what the problem was. I was out there standing up or sitting down in a chair on the ground, shooting level at a target, and my head was right here. In other words, my chin was, if you had on a collared shirt like you got on, my chin was touching that collar. Well, you may have your head up like this or whatever, you know. And that's your rear sight right there. It made a big difference.
You pointed that out when I was out there at Lynn shooting. You pointed that out to me. I think you're creeping up with your neck. I think you need to keep your head back, because I believe when you're shooting that deer, your adrenaline's up, you're gonna have that head back, and you were exactly right. So those little bitty things make gigantic difference with a longbow, that you're kind of covered a little bit. You got a grace period with that.
A little more forgiving.
It is way more forgiving. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Being around other people and getting advice, and I'm going to put a little plug in for Three Rivers Archery. They're a traditional shop, and they support us every year. And Jonathan Carr's running it now. His dad started the company, Dale, and Dale came up. Johnny's been up there several times deer hunting with me, and Dale came up there with him one time. And you're talking about a wealth of knowledge, you know. And just I'd stay around the camp with him and just pick his brain about things that, you know, what am I doing wrong? What I need to correct this? No, how do you do this? And so forth. And man, you can pick up little old things, little bitty things, like you said, that make a big difference. Yeah.
You almost hate to see where we are today with all the technology that is replacing traditional archery. I hate to see traditional archery, and I say this, and I'm not down on anybody, and I have one myself. But I think crossbows have hurt the archery business as a whole. Everybody fought. Pete Shepley and everybody else will say and tell you now it was a mistake. But they all fought to get crossbows legal to hunt deer for people that weren't disabled. You know, at one time you had to have a doctor's permit, shoulder problems, or whatever to be able to shoot. Now, just about any state you can legally shoot a crossbow during archery season. And what that did is it hurt the archery business as a whole, because if you're shooting even a compound bow, you're running, you're buying targets, you're practicing, you start practicing in June or July all summer long, and you shoot and you buy targets and you buy arrows and you buy releases. You shoot a compound bow, a crossbow, you don't even pull it out the day before the season. You go out there and look through the scope, you dial it in, shoot twice, and you're good.
It's like shooting your gun, just sighting it in before season.
Yeah. And so there's no more buying targets, there's no releases. The whole archery market has suffered because of that. And I hate that. But then you look where we are with the compound bow, and traditional archery's gone away. And it's just so important to me now that I understand it. Before I met you guys, I didn't even think about traditional archery. My boys did, and they liked it, and I just thought, well, it's just a pastime, you know. But now that I understand it, man, it is a history-rich method of hunting that is far beyond just shooting. It's getting that deer within 15 or 20 yards. It ain't nothing to get a white-tailed deer within 100 yards. You get him within 50, it's a challenge. You get him 30, it's a challenge. Man, you get him 15, it is a super challenge.
Yeah.
And that's what's so exciting about it, man. It's really, you know, I tell people gun hunting. When you gun hunt, when you see that deer, you hunt's over, pow. When you archery hunting, even with the compound bow, when you see that deer, your hunt's just begun. I mean, that's just the beginning. And when you see him at 50 yards, 40 yards, 30 yards with a longbow, your hunt's still just begun. So
what's crazy too is what I've noticed. We put a little clip out of these guys shooting an elk or a deer with a longbow, and maybe not make a great shot. The people's response on some of those, they have no clue. You know, they have a compound, or they go out archery hunting with a crossbow, and they stack them in like this, and then they're so critical of a wayward shot. And just like you were saying, the slightest little thing affects that arrow feet. And then they get on there and it's like, these guys should practice more. I can't believe they're out hunting with this stuff. And it just drives me crazy, because so many times they're making comments based upon such limited knowledge. They've never shot a longbow. They never shot traditional archery. They don't have any idea. One little pull back two more inches, you're 5 feet over the deer, you know. And so anyway, some of the stuff about hunting, when you start putting your hunts out there for people to see, it opens it up for so many people to criticize. You brought it up a minute ago. You know, if it makes you proud, take that animal, and that is not popular today either, you know. And you've got to shoot a trophy. It's got to be this big, or it's got to be this old. And I just always have liked hunting, going out and killing what made you proud, what made you excited to kill it, using whatever equipment you wanted to use. And that's what I love about, you know, getting to hunt with these guys, because it's just about the experience. It's about going out there and taking an animal with whatever.
The way it was as a whole, I have gotten involved because I love you guys, and I know the tie that binds is Jesus Christ, and the tie that binds is the most powerful force that there is. There's something about brothers in the Lord Jesus that is different from any other type friendship. So I'm proud to associate and be a little bitty part of, and you guys allow me to be a little bitty part, and I'm grateful for that. But I do my own podcast, and it's mostly in the fishing world. And my granddaughter's co-hosting with me a lot, and we get comments just like you guys get that are negative, trying to do good, but you get a lot of negative comments. And I get so many wonderful comments. I've got such an incredible fan base. They're so kind to me, and I'm grateful. But occasionally, and more often than I like, I get negative comment. And my granddaughter, one day I said, I can't believe all the negativity surrounding the sport of fishing. So much controversy about forward-facing sonar, so much controversy about this guy and that guy. And peeling. She said, Papa, hold on. Are you living under a rock? I said, I hope not, but possibly. She said, it's all negative. There's suicide teenagers now because girls will pick on another girl and post it all over Facebook and ruin her reputation. There's so much negativity with all the communication with social media. It's a big negative cesspool. And so it's not just fishing, Pawpaw. It's not just hunting. It's the whole world is critical. It's political. It's everything. And
That's
so
true.
that helped me because I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be positive. And I'm not going to worry about negative. Here's who I am. This is what I do, and this is what I love to do. And I love you, and I want you to be a part of my sport. And I want to share, and I want to share information. I want to share knowledge. I want to share what Lynn has taught me, what Sid has taught me, what you have taught me. I want to share that, and I want to be positive. And if the whole world wants to be negative, let them be negative. I'm not going to go down that dirt road. I'm not going to let you influence me. I'm not going to defend myself. And people say, well, you're this, you're that. I am a lot of that. I don't claim to be anything other than what I am. But I'm not going to allow all the negativity to drag me down. I'm going to stay positive. We're going to stay positive on the way it was. The message we have is Jesus. And I'm going to tell you, Jeff Foxworthy said this the other day, and I'm so proud of him. He said, I go do wild game dinners at churches. I do stand-up comedy. I ask the crowd, whether I'm at a stand-up comedy or in a church presenting the gospel at a wild game dinner, how many people in the audience will raise their hand and say, I trust the news media to be truthful? There ain't nobody raise their hand. Or I trust all my politicians to be truthful. Raise your hand if you believe that. Nobody raises their hand. If you think social media is accurate and truthful, raise your hand. Nobody raises their hand. If you think your school and your teachers and all the professors that you deal with are being truthful, raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand. He said, now we're supposed to be mentors to our children. How can we be mentors in a cesspool of lies? So if we're going to be mentors, then we need to go back to the Bible. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
That's right.
If we're going to be, there's one truth.
That's right.
And his name is Jesus. So if we're going to be mentors to the world, if we're going to be mentors to our children, if we're going to be mentors to our grandchildren, we need to get in the Bible. And we need to base what we're saying. What is the way it was? What is the motive? When I talked to Lynn, when we first started this thing, I said, what is your motive to share the gospel? Share the gospel.
Right.
What is your motive? Share the gospel.
That's right.
You're called by God to share the gospel, but that's your heart. That's Sid's heart. We come together for the purpose to
share the
good
gospel.
news, man.
That's
It's great news. There's hope. No matter how broken you are in Jesus Christ, there's hope. He'll change your life. He changed my life. Changed my old drunk daddy. Man, my kids are all going to heaven.
Yeah.
I ain't going to get negative. I don't have anything to be negative about. The war is won. The battle is going on right now. I don't have to be engaged in a negative battle. I'm in a positive battle because my king is going to be victorious.
Amen.
Go to the back of the book.
That's right. We win.
So
In
let's
the
all
end,
be positive,
we win.
you know?
Hey,
In the
I
end, we
lobbed
win.
you that one, didn't I?
In the end, we win.
Well,
You swung for the fence.
Well, hey, here's the deal.
That's true.
Everybody criticizes everything.
That's
It's
right.
not just the fact that Lynn didn't make a good shot or Sid shot a bad shot or Hank missed for the 44th time.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's about, I'm not going to go there.
That's right.
Man, we're doing what we love to do. We want to share that with you. We want to share what knowledge we have. We want to share a good time.
Yeah.
And if you find fault with that, turn the channel.
That's right.
Turn the channel.
That's good.
I know you were talking about negativity and all that. That is, I was warned before we started this by some of my other friends in the industry that said, man, you're going to get the haters. And one in particular a little deer hunt I had up there, and boy, there was a guy came on there, and he was just wearing me out. You know?
Yeah.
It was like he was there instead of me, and I made a mistake, and I started trying to tell him exactly what happened. You know, trying to do, and that just fired him up. He just got worse, and I said, "Well, I'm out of here." I said, I think I said something like, you know, I'm done. I'm gone. I said, I hope the Lord blesses you and you have a great day.
Yeah.
You know, I left it at that. You know, I just said, I'm not. And now when I get the negative comments, I just go on.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
do.
real simple. Just consider the source.
Yeah.
Just consider the source.
There are people that are wonderful people that love animals that think hunting is cruel. And I understand that. I really do. I love animals, and I'm probably the greatest dog lover in the whole world. My dog is so special to me, and I understand that. So I try to show a little grace to people that feel like it's not humane, and I don't agree with them, and I know we'll never see eye to eye on that, but I try to show them a little grace. We had a hunt that we did when I had Hank Parker 3D, and we hunt with the Outdoor Dream Foundation, and we had a little boy that he didn't have long to live, and he was in really bad shape, and his dream was to kill a bear. He wanted to kill a bear. And so Hank Parker Jr. and Billy took him on a bear hunt where the dogs ran the bear, and they treated the bear. His dad will be in the Hall of Fame of dads. He carried that little boy through the roughest, thickest stuff, put him on his back, and the little boy was big. And he carried him, and he got that little boy in there, and he made a shot and killed the bear. And we even left them. The father-son was crying, and they were so rejoiceful, and that little boy was so grateful. That was his dream, and it came true. And we just left them to celebrate and hug each other and cry. And we went back and gathered up, and we carried the little boy out. And a guy wrote Hank Jr. and said, I can't believe you would show a boy that can't even go after his own bear. His daddy had to carry him and baby him like he was a little baby. And Hank Jr. said, well, did you see the first part of the show? He said, no, I didn't see the first part. I didn't need to see. All I saw was that daddy babying that little boy. And that boy was big enough to walk on his own, and went on. And Hank Jr. said, please do me one favor. Rewind and watch the beginning of that show. He said about an hour later, that guy called him. He said, I'm such a fool. I didn't realize that little boy was terminally ill. And he said, I just spoke out. There's a lot of that goes on. Yeah. People jump conclusions. Some people, the only exercise they ever get is jumping to conclusions. They don't understand.
You're right.
They don't understand. Man, we take these kids with the Outdoor Dream Foundation on their dream hunt, and people criticize. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't take them boys and introduce them to murder. And I mean, I just let it go. You know,
that's all you can do.
The engineer of the train, if a grasshopper spits on the track, he don't stop and get out and try to kill that grasshopper. He just rolls on down the line.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need to do. But we need to love people, even though they hate us and they hate what we do. We need to love people.
Yeah. That's what Jesus did, right?
That's right. But, you know, it's such a privilege to be able to do what we love to do and laugh. But I did a seminar just today and had the privilege, and all these people are hanging on every word of what it takes to catch more fish. And they asked me at the end of the seminar, talk about what is really important. Now, I don't know if that meant summarize what is really important about the topic that I was on, or life itself, but I took it as to summarize what is important in life. And whether we love to fish, or whether we love to hunt, or play golf, or crochet, or whatever it is we love to do, it's all rust and dust. Mm-hmm. The only thing that matters is what you do with Jesus.
That's right.
That's it.
And one of the things you talked about, you're really in good company when you talk about all those misses you've made, because the Bible says all of us have missed the mark. Yeah. And it's not just some of us, but every one of us has missed the mark. And the word it uses is an archery word. Yeah. Sin. Sin is to miss the bullseye, to miss the mark. And all those deer that you miss shooting over and under and on front and behind, you were just doing what God, how you were born as a sinner to do. I mean, all of us have missed the mark. And the reality is Jesus is the only one that never missed the mark. He's the only one who came and lived this life perfectly without sin. And the whole reason we do what we do here at The Way It Was is to be able to communicate to you that we're no different than any of you. All of us have missed the mark. All of us have sinned. But the difference may be that we've trusted in the one who didn't. We've placed our faith in the one who never missed the mark, and he died a perfect death. He sacrificed his life, laid it down for us so that we can have a relationship with our Creator, God the Father.
Amen.
And that's our prayer for you. That's why we do this. Amen. So if you're at a place in your life, you're asking spiritual questions, wondering what's next, what happens to life after this life, we would love a chance to be able to visit with you. The way that happens is you can go to that website underneath the screen. It's inthehunt.org. You can go to that on your phone or on the PC or whatever. You can talk to somebody and ask them spiritual questions so you can have a relationship with the one who never missed the mark.
Hey, thank you for listening to The Way It Was.